Years passed, and Claire had rebuilt her life into something stable and fulfilling. Lily was now a teenager, bright and full of potential, with a determination that reminded Claire of herself. They had created a warm, loving home together, one free of the shadows that had once threatened to consume them. James remained on the outskirts of their lives. He attended Lily's important milestones, school plays, birthdays, and eventually her graduation, but his presence was always polite and distant. The relationship between him and Claire had become strictly business, focused on co-parenting. Though he continued to regret his choices, James knew that forgiveness from Claire was a luxury he would never receive. Evelyn, too, aged into a life of solitude. Despite her attempts to reconcile, Claire maintained her boundaries, unwilling to open the door to someone who had inflicted so much pain. Letters and birthday cards from Evelyn were returned unopened. Phone calls went unanswered, and family gatherings excluded her. It wasn't until Lily turned 18 that the carefully managed distance between Claire, James, and Evelyn began to fray. On her birthday, Lily, who had always been curious about the estrangement between her mother and grandmother, decided to take matters into her own hands. She had grown up with only vague explanations about the family rift, and now, as an adult, she wanted the truth. She approached Claire one evening after dinner. "Mom, I know you've been protecting me, but I'm old enough now. Why don't we ever see Grandma Evelyn? What happened between you and Dad?" Claire froze, her fork clattering against her plate. She had dreaded this moment, yet she knew it would come eventually. Taking a deep breath, she decided it was time to be honest. "Your grandmother and your father made choices that hurt me deeply," Claire said, her voice steady but tinged with sorrow. "It's not something I like to talk about, but they betrayed my trust in a way I couldn't forgive." Lily's brow furrowed, her curiosity growing. "What kind of betrayal?" Claire hesitated, the words catching in her throat. "It's complicated, sweetheart. They crossed a line that shattered our family. I had to make the decision to protect myself, and, most importantly, to protect you." Lily didn't press further that night, but her determination to uncover the full story only grew. Behind her mother's back, she reached out to Evelyn. The meeting was awkward at first, but Evelyn, overwhelmed by the chance to connect with her granddaughter, poured her heart out. She confessed everything: the affair, the regret, and the isolation she'd endured ever since. Lily was stunned, anger bubbling within her. She couldn't fathom how her grandmother could betray her mother in such a way, let alone her father's complicity. Yet, beneath the anger was a flicker of compassion. Evelyn was frail now, her remorse evident in every word. When Lily returned home, she confronted Claire. "I met Grandma," she admitted, watching her mother's expression shift from surprise to resignation. "She told me everything." Claire's heart sank, but she remained calm. "And how do you feel about it?" "I'm angry," Lily said. "At her, at Dad, at what they did to you. But I also feel sad. She's alone, Mom, and I think she really wants to make things right." Claire sat in silence for a long time, her thoughts racing. Forgiveness wasn't something she had ever considered. But now, faced with her daughter's plea and Evelyn's advancing age, she wondered if holding on to the anger was worth the toll it had taken on her heart. In the weeks that followed, Claire reluctantly agreed to meet Evelyn. Their conversation was raw and painful, filled with years of pent-up hurt and guilt. Evelyn begged for forgiveness, acknowledging the depth of her mistakes. Though Claire couldn't fully forgive her, she decided to allow Evelyn to be a part of Lily's life. As for James, the reconciliation was less merciful. Claire kept him at arm's length, her trust irrevocably broken. He remained a shadow in the background, grateful for whatever sliver of fatherhood he could still hold on to. In the end, Claire's journey wasn't about mending the past, but about carving a future free from its weight. She taught Lily the value of boundaries, resilience, and self-worth, ensuring her daughter would carry those lessons forward into her own life. And though the scars of betrayal lingered, they no longer defined her. Instead, They became a testament to her strength, a reminder that she had faced the worst and come out on the other side as the years unfolded. The fragile peace between Claire, Evelyn, and James settled into an uneasy balance. Claire allowed Evelyn to visit occasionally, but their interactions remained distant. Evelyn cherished every moment she could spend with Lily, doing her best to mend the fractured relationship, even if Claire kept a guarded wall between them. For Lily, seeing her grandmother became a bittersweet experience, tinged with the weight of what she now understood but softened by Evelyn's evident remorse. James, meanwhile, tried to forge a stronger bond with Lily. Now in her early 20s, she had grown into a confident, independent woman. She maintained a relationship with her father out of respect, but their closeness never fully recovered. James saw glimpses of Claire in their daughter, her determination, strength, and unwavering sense of justice, and it was a constant reminder of what he had lost. One summer, Evelyn's health began to decline rapidly. Diagnosed with a terminal illness, she reached out to Claire for what she knew would be her last attempt at reconciliation. "I know I don't deserve it," Evelyn wrote in a letter, her handwriting shaky, "but I want to see you again before it's too late. Not for my sake, but for yours. Carrying this pain forever will only hurt you more. Please, Claire." Claire wrestled with the decision. Part of her wanted to deny Evelyn the closure she sought, to let her live with the consequences of her betrayal. But another part of her, a quieter, more compassionate voice, urged her to let go of the anger that had defined their relationship for so long. Lily, too, gently encouraged her. "Mom, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It's for you, not for her." Reluctantly, Claire agreed to visit Evelyn in the hospice. When she walked into the room, she was struck by how frail her mother looked. The once vibrant woman who had loomed so large in her life now seemed small and vulnerable. Evelyn's eyes filled with tears as she saw her daughter. "Thank you for coming," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The conversation that followed was one Claire would never forget. Evelyn didn't beg for forgiveness or make excuses for her actions. Instead, she spoke candidly about her regrets, her love for Claire, and the guilt that had haunted her every day since the affair. "I destroyed the most precious thing in my life," Evelyn said, her voice breaking, "and I can never undo that. But I hope you find peace, even if it's not with me." For the first time, Claire saw her mother not as the person who had betrayed her, but as a flawed human being consumed by her mistakes. She didn't offer forgiveness in that moment, but she held Evelyn's hand as the tears fell freely between them. Evelyn passed away a few weeks later. At the funeral, Claire stood by Lily's side, her emotions a mix of grief, anger, and an unexpected sense of closure. She realized that while Evelyn's actions had left, thanks for watching, continue next episode coming soon.